Hello, hello, and welcome to today's episode of Book of Saints. I am your storyteller for tonight's chronicle, Gilbert Ramos. The only announcement that I have is that we are raising money through the month of June, and likely 100% correct, onward past June through for the Trevor Project. We did a 12-hour stream yesterday, ran by our lovely Azure Butterfly. Good money was raised. Along with our giveaways that was done. So go ahead and check the link that we'll throw in the chat during the introductions, and the donations will be going toward a good cause. With that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and jump right into it and meet our characters.
Hello, everyone. It's me, your boy, Avery. At Avery DeBoy on all the social media platforms. I'm a community ambassador right here on the Roaring Nomads, and this evening I will be playing the Sly Serpent, EREBUS guy.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Edge Survival. I will be playing TREY tonight, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Hello again, everybody. Warren here playing Victor BELLSHANE. Let's get to it.
Indeed, indeed. Let's jump right into it then. Having met our characters, let's jump into tonight's episode, Book of Saints. We begin each episode as we always do with a recap. Victor, if you would kindly.
Feels like it's me more and more often.
Such is the burden of leadership, Mr. Belshane.
Anyways, uh, so if I remember correctly, last time was pretty much just uh us feeding, and we began doing the rites, preparing for what was to come. We performed a rite of binding and the rite of the fire dance, helping to solidify the bonds within the Sabbat, joining us all together, and at the same time, a way of mourning for those that we lost.
On the second night, after you've done the fire walk, the fire dance, after you perform the rite of binding, your second phase of your plan is to call for a wild hunt and to mass embrace to get yourself a small army that you may take Firenze down for good. However, before we jump into any of that, with the rites having been completed, the rite of binding, and reaffirmation of your faith, and a recentering for all of you, we're going to sit down together and go over what this means. Victor, what are your touchstones?
As of now, they are to never show cowardice and overcome your fears, signified by the fire dance.
You've tied this
Be
right
loyal.
to your conviction, correct?
Yes.
Go on.
And then be loyal to one's allies above all else. Right of binding.
Understood. Trey, what are your touchstones? Excellent. All the better, because you're starting anew tonight. Erebus, what are your touchstones?
I don't have any because I killed them all.
What are your convictions?
Do only what you say you will do. There is nothing worth breaking faith for, and it is a poor devil that is dishonest.
No touchstones. Symbolically, you have both you and Trey, for separate reasons entirely, an active choice of slaughtering and killing your touchstones, and now, for Trey, in Trey's case, forgetting. Trey, you should have convictions on your sheet that you began with. what the character is centered with, what they hold close and dear. With the reaffirmation and the rite of binding, we will be tying a conviction to one of the rites of the Sabbat. This will operate as a touchstone. It is considered a touchstone rite, and you will take aggravated willpower damage if it is interrupted or disrupted in any way or disrespected. So, with that being said, the rites, this is a little bit of bookkeeping, but I think it's good to display this honestly. The rites are found in the Black Hand Final PDF that you all should have access to. If you haven't downloaded it, let me know. It's the guide to playing the Sabbat. But we are going to start, when everyone has it open, on true page 11. And we're going to go through the system for, because narratively, some justifications, some information for y'all. Narratively speaking, you guys have been waffling a little bit. Not really dedicated. You guys have been walking the path of Sabbat, but not really dedicated to your path. Now we begin the actual process of replacing your touchstones and convictions with rights and the convictions of the Sabbat. So, on page 11, that bottom right corner where it says system, I'll read it aloud. Not all of it. I will maybe all of it. We'll figure it out. We're going to get to the meat and potatoes of all this. Adopting a Sabbat path of enlightenment requires a teacher. Trying to learn such a new mindset from books or scanned PDFs would take several mortal lifetimes, and a single misstep would likely result in a wassail of final death. Once the vampire's humanity has been eroded to 6 or lower, they may take a new conviction related to the path of enlightenment they are pursuing. They already have 3 convictions. They will replace one of them with this new conviction as long as they no longer have a living touchstone connected to the conviction being replaced. In short, you're going to replace your convictions with the Sabbat Path of Enlightenment convictions. The Path of Enlightenment that TREY and Victor are walking do not have a place in the book. We will be coming up with the convictions live and on air here.
We had them though.
You had them from the old wiki, correct?
Yes. From the White Wolf site.
Sweet. And then in TREY's case, you'll be choosing one of the conviction that you'll be tying to a right in order to begin walking this path. EREBUS, you have chosen a path that is very similar to the Catharia, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, but also no.
There should be convictions in the old White Wolf wiki for this path, if I'm not mistaken. What is the name of your path?
Path of the Typhon.
Perfect. So the ethics can apply to convictions. If you would like to reword them or clarify them, that can absolutely be done. So that is our first step. We're going to establish the convictions that you would like to take, and then what you would like to tie to the rights will come in a little bit. Does that make sense? So with everyone having the path convictions that are available to you for this, if you have 3 convictions, you will be replacing one now with a path conviction. Victor, you've already replaced one, correct?
Yes, both of mine are new and 2 are path.
Excellent. Can you do me a favor and can you say this one more time for me, please? The convictions themselves.
It was never show cowardice and overcome your fears, which would be number 3 of showing cowardice. And then the other one was to be loyal to your allies above all else, which was the failing to protect your allies.
Excellent.
Which was number 5. Tied to the fire dance and rite of binding, respectively.
Perfect. Trey, have you chosen a conviction? What conviction have you chosen?
Never show cowardice, overcome your fears.
Excellent. EREBUS?
And I replaced do only what you say you will do with subjugate the beast's whims.
Excellent. So now we tie this conviction to a touchstone right. The touchstone rights are detailed throughout pages 16 to 23. This is the in the Blackhand PDF. This shows you what the paths that they've chosen in that book are tied to. You can go ahead and feel free to peek through those rights themselves and see if anything matches up with what you would like to establish for the path. Because we're essentially building both paths from the old system from scratch in V5. But the rights continue all the way from 16 down to 23 for the established paths, and then the rights themselves continue. Victor, you said which page?
I believe it was 62.
Yeah, I'm gonna tie Subjugate the Beast's whims to the Blood Feast.
Understood.
Would you like me to make a third one now, or am I good with just 2?
You're good for just 2.
I'm gonna do monomancy.
Understood. So, be sure to record this. Your path, your touchstone right is tied to the conviction you've chosen. Now, all of you still have convictions that you began with, if I'm not mistaken. Victor, do you still have both of your convictions are replaced? Perfect. We're gonna get to explore both sides of this coin. So,
Before we did the our initial right to become the new Sabat, we ate all of our touchstones.
So, Trey, Erebus, you two still have convictions that are your own, correct? Not tied to your path. Perfect.
Two.
Trey, you have 1 conviction. Excellent. We'll still get to go explore both sides of this coin. So, in terms of Erebus, you are walking the path. You are not fully committed. Once you have no convictions tied to a mortal touchstone, actually, your touchstones are dead. Yeah, you are walking the path fully then. Cool. Even better. This actually works out fairly well for you, for your character. With no touchstones, you can erase the convictions if you choose. You can choose to keep them if you would like to eventually have a narrative standpoint of erasing them. But you've killed your touchstones. For all intents and purposes, mechanically speaking, you can erase those, and whenever you would gain a new path condition, you would tie it to another right, so on and so forth, and continue like we've done today. So what would you like to do?
I'm gonna hold on to them for now, and then when it's narratively makes sense, we'll start replacing them.
Understood. So, in this sense, you're walking the path. You are a hair's breadth away from being fully committed. You retain your current humanity rating, and you will gain stains normally. You can no longer buy dots in humanity. Actually, I apologize. That is Victor and Trey. You guys can no longer buy dots in humanity. Erebus, you can still purchase dots through upgrading your certain attributes. For all 3 of you, so long as you faithfully walk this path, your humanity is not in danger. For Trey and Victor, anytime you would lose your last dot of humanity, you will instead take an aggravated willpower damage. This will trigger your path compulsion, which we will determine another day, because I don't see either of you getting down to your last. Because what are you guys at currently for humanity ratings? 4? Trey, what are you looking for humanity? 4? Perfect. So, it would trigger a path compulsion. A Sabato has filled their willpower check with aggravated damage because it was impaired. They take any aggravated willpower damage while in this state. They lose their last humanity dot and enter wassail. The last of their mortality is lost to the beast. So it is still possible to become a white. It is just a little bit more difficult. Does that make sense? For Erebus, you are walking the path. You are a hair's breadth away from being fully committed. You can still buy humanity through your attributes and such. Your your efforts and your humanity is still very much in danger. You have one humanity, if I'm not mistaken. It would behoove you to cling to that. So, that is the system that you all are dealing with now. Your convictions are tied to your path. The convictions are tied to the touchstone rite. That is essentially, for the time being, the only thing that changes for the three of you. Whenever we get our Akata back, we'll go over that with him as well. So, with that being established and taken care of, we jump into the next night as you guys have been making your preparations. As always, when night falls, you rise. I need a rouse check from each of you.
Fail.
Succeed.
Everybody's a success as well. Excellent. Victor, what does this bring your hunger to?
2.
Excellent. Your beast stirs. You all rise. The night is yours. You meet with your pack and discuss the night's operations. Whoever would like to go first?
Are did we stay the night at the factory again? Yeah, because we didn't. Obviously, we wouldn't have gone home.
There's no home to go back to as far as you know.
Yeah.
You said something, Victor, about wanting a blood feast and a mass embrace, yes?
That was the plan for tonight, yes.
The club where Fernando Villarreal met his girl. Have one pack lock the doors from the outside with chains.
It is a good idea.
I'll get in and kill the surveillance cameras before we begin.
If possible, because I feel like we have enough numbers here, I would like to hit multiple places.
I hear your wisdom. Where else?
That is something I wanted to discuss with the others. See if they know of any other locations that might be near and dear.
Storyteller, where was the last Elysium that I was invited to?
The last Elysium. The last Elysium you were invited to was a club called Guilt Roma.
Guilt Roma. They hold Elysium there.
Perfect.
Where do you want me? Should we move together as one? Should we?
Our pack should stick together. And you, I would like with us as well.
I would then caution that the one who seeks to depose you be kept close. Do not let them take control of the second location. Give them no reason for their validity to challenge you to be increased.
I had no intention of allowing them to. The commander of the second forces would be the leader of the warriors. They have been our closest ally in all of this.
They do seem to be in need of reinforcements. You should send the Nosferatu with them for the same purpose that I must remain close to deal with the closed circuit television.
Sounds like a fair plan.
Do we have any I mean, you brought up a good point with Fernando's girl. Do we have any, I guess, more information to get specific?
What information are you asking for? Priest?
Like even Fernando's fling with the girl from the club.
It is my understanding that it was not romantic in origin. It was something deeper. Perhaps kinship by mortal blood.
We know where she is, though, right?
I've seen her at that club more than one night. And she doesn't know yet that Fernando is dead, so I would say based on the night of the week, she should be there with all of her little friends.
It might be worthwhile to pick her up. Maybe, you know, maybe he'll come to his senses, speak, give us a little something.
Have we not disposed of Fernando Villarreal?
I thought you were gonna
Oh,
eat him.
I planned on it. I haven't yet.
What is stopping you, TREY ESBRICK?
Well, like I said, information. Maybe he could have something useful.
Use her for leverage. I see the wisdom in this.
Yeah, I
Good.
could eat them afterwards. That's.
There is one other thing I would like to ask if we would be interested in. Aspiring bishop. I may be able to get my hands on one of Fiorenza's ghouls. But that would initiate the end step.
I forget. Was tomorrow the night we planned to do that anyways? Or was there one more? Tomorrow was the night.
Yeah.
So I would say closer towards the end of the night. We can do that.
The ghoul that I met with to hand off information with, I'll take my phone out and text them. Sunrise is at what, like 6 o'clock?
We'll say around that. I'm not familiar with the exact time for this particular region, but around 6, maybe 5, given that it's
Summer in
no,
Mexico.
it would still be cresting into like spring in game time frame, so probably around 6.
I'll take out my phone and I'll text them the letter D, the letter U, and the letter S, 5:30 a.m. for drop in the usual spot.
There's no response. There's just a mark that shows that it's been read.
We'll need to be quick. We'll have a half hour to hide from the sun.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd like to remind, for both Erebus and Victor, I believe you guys need to pass out an hour before sunrise. You'll need to force yourselves to stay awake. This is the plan.
Right? Is this something you feel you could do on your own? If I'm not
Is it?
able to maintain consciousness,
What exactly do I need to do?
I'll take you to the place where I drop. You'll lie in wait. Fiorenza's ghoul will come to pick up the drop. And you'll need to subdue them and bring them back here. You'll have a half hour until the sun rises.
Not that
What?
I was going to say I trust you to be able to handle it easily, but I don't know if that's the way we want to do that. Sending you alone.
Fiorenza's ghouls are powerful.
Wait, why would I go alone?
In case we can't stay awake.
There's, there's
Can you
other
not
people in
move
this
the
pack,
time
right?
up?
It would look
Where
suspicious.
are they?
It would look suspicious if I change the time now. Could Monique go with you?
She still has to go to bed an hour early too, doesn't she?
Looking at, technically speaking, to clear some things up, I think Trey also, because he's at For Humanity now, Trey used to be able to stay awake longer than you guys, but Trey is also in the same boat.
Oh, I mean, what I
Well,
can do is uh maybe take host and uh and Chewy and you know
no. The risk to us makes it feel to them that this is safe. We need to maintain the time frame. We'll sort this out. There's a path we're not seeing. We need to
can
do this ourselves. We
The
have
only real option is to stay awake.
we have cartel connections, no?
Definitely do.
Reach out,
if
see if we can get some methamphetamine. We'll dose our vessels when we do the mass embrace. Do you want this to work or not?
Those are vessels. Are you talking about us doing drugs?
Well, it wouldn't work. I thought you were old enough to realize that, Victor. We'll have to
Well, I
dose.
get what you mean, dose the human and us drink it, and then we're doing drugs. That's
Yes.
what you're talking about. Now,
Then, with leave, I would at least like to do it for myself to ensure the success of this mission.
you are your own person. I'm not telling you what you can or cannot do.
I feel like it's only right. This is the path that I can see.
Still don't like it.
By all means, Victor, I'm open to the alternatives, but you do realize that doing a mass embrace at a club is going to mean you're going to get some kind of party drug in your system.
I'm sure I will. But
So what's a nightcap of
choosing,
methamphetamine?
because then at that point I am purposely choosing to do those drugs.
To stay awake to do the mission. Who knows, you may get lucky and find a cokehead. Is it the connotation of methamphetamine that grants such aversion?
It's drugs in general. I do not believe in partaking of them. Never have.
All humans are inundated with drugs, Victor. The meat they eat is filled with antibiotics. The air they breathe has been dosed by their own government. Their water is full of fluoride. All of these.
Hmm.
Don't you think it's silly that we're debating over which chemical compound we're intaking? I don't mean to question your leadership. That's not what this is. I'm simply trying to know you.
Oh, well, now's not the time to get to know each other, right? Now's the time for planning and finding a solution to where we need to get done, right? So we need a goal, right? Do we trust anybody else? I know maybe perhaps that's something we should look at because we only have our one. But if there's any other people that have ghouls, maybe they could do it. Thin bloods. Do we have any thin bloods that stayed on our side that still could walk the day?
Inbloods that were present in Mexico City that had turned tail and fled into the arms of the Camarilla were drastically reduced by a group of hunters that had taken up residence in the city, and what remained loyal to the Camarilla.
Yeah, well, fuck them. Okay,
We
well,
should do this ourselves. It's the only way we'll know it's done right.
okay, well, is that what our goal is tonight? Is to get this goal, and that's the only information we have is to drop on them.
No. Getting the ghoul is a trophy. Something that'll infuriate Firenze. That will drive her to less
Not,
rational thoughts.
and she won't question when we come walking through her door with me on a silver platter.
No. We can modify the memory of the ghoul to believe that he and I took down Victor. I'll hide the rest of you. Fiorenza knows I'm no combatant, but her ghouls are powerful. It would lend itself to the illusion better if we did it together.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I have to say, putting a lot of trust to this. But,
Your trust will be repaid with victory, Trey.
well, like I said, I personally would like to try to get Fernando's girl and see what information we could pull out of him. So,
Do you know if Fernando's a good liar?
From some of the information we got from Felix. Jesus. From Felix, yes. He was very adept at lying.
Then we can use our leverage over Fernando with the girl to get him to walk your body in, and I'll keep the rest of us obfuscated.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
Mhm. Well, I guess we'll just have to see how much he clings to the girl. And then we can decide if we have enough leverage for something that daring.
what were we talking about?
If the girl is enough leverage to get Fernando to operate within our interests, we may be able to get Fernando and Fiorenza's ghoul to walk Victor's body into Fiorenza's haven while I keep the rest of us obfuscated. And that would be, in my opinion, the optimal scenario. Fernando and one of Fiorenza's ghouls, no offense, Victor, would certainly appear to Fiorenza as being more than a match for you.
There's no way that I see him helping us. Not even under duress. And even then, at the first moment a chance is presented, I see him betraying us quickly.
Give me time to whisper venom in his ear and we'll see how slowly he adapts to the course of survival. But we shouldn't waste much more time. You should deliberate your orders, Bishop.
Let's go. Greet the rest of the packs.
And
Is there anything else that you would like to add, Trey?
Nothing that we don't already know. Do we have any idea where Felix is?
I'm sure Fernando can tell us.
If we have time tonight, I would like to look into that myself. Felix and the house.
Very well.
Get moving.
Then also with your leave, Victor, I will keep myself hidden while you deliberate your orders. I want to hear what the others say about you when your back is turned. And I will invoke Vanish.
Understood.
It is a rouse check and I did succeed.
Excellent. You address the packs. Unless there is something specific you'd like to pass along, we will take it as they understand your orders. Is there anything in specific or any deviations you'd like to make from what you've previously discussed?
No. Attack these two locations. Tonight's the night we've all been looking forward to.
Do you use the words wild hunt, Victor?
Yes. And I would specifically cite their names of the primogens, which I believe I have them all.
You should. They're on the
Lyle
roll 20.
Weeks, Josiah Durham, Renee Sullivan, Fernanda Hawkins, Christina Wilcox, Irish White, Felicia Penna,
a number of targets.
As many as we can get.
The Wild Hunt is not just a call for as many as you can get. This is to make sure that you understand the weight of this order. They'll pursue until it's done, or they are completely unable to access these individuals.
Okay, then I would definitely rephrase that.
Perhaps it would be better to choose who you think stands the greatest threat to us. 2, maybe 3.
Yes. That is exactly what I intend to do.
I'll say this, it's not a matter of mind control. They can make themselves more strategic. They can also choose to stop. What is compelling them is a matter of status. It's a matter of honor. It's a matter of the reverie that comes with having taken out one of these targets. It's an Easter egg hunt. If they win, they are elevated. And that can drive a lot of motivation to these packs. So don't be afraid to set it loose. But just so you know the repercussions of this, it's that they are going to give forth their best effort, and they're not going to stop until these targets are unavailable. It's a lot like if one of them becomes unavailable, if they enter a safe room, a panic room, they'll leave to go find an easier target. But they're going to do so until they're all in safe rooms, until they're all completely out of their reach. And they'll do so by whatever means necessary.
Yeah, I would still narrow down that list a little bit. Christina Wilcox needs to go. Lyle Weeks and Renee Sullivan, I think, are our biggest.
Malkavian Primogen, the Venture Primogen, what was your last one?
Lyle Weeks, the sheriff.
Understood. Are these your orders?
Yes.
So that you are aware, your plans tonight are to acquire a ghoul and garner information. However, should you find yourselves with some extra time to participate in the wild hunt, the mechanical benefits for this are as follows. As long as you are actively pursuing the target of a wild hunt, all Sabbat taking part in the Right's invocation gain a +2 bonus to all wits rolls. Moreover, weak mortals find these canines nondescript and will have difficulty identifying them accurately, often confusing them for a face in the crowd. So should you find yourself with some time, that would be the mechanical benefit that you would gain from this. But your orders are given. The rest of the night is yours, as you see the packs of Mexico City stream out, running, rushing to vehicles. It's not a wave of individuals causing destruction in their wake. They are precise. They are tactical. They aren't slaughtering in wanton violence. They are a targeted force. Yes, Victor.
We are starting with the Blood Feast and Mass Embrace, right?
Would you like to?
Yeah, that was the plan. Mass Embrace and then going straight off.
What are the parameters of a blood feast? And your mass embrace? Is there anything that you give them for targets for creation?
There are targets to hit, which we were dividing up into factions to hit the two places. Which one was the previous Elysium and the possibly the still current Elysium, and the other one was the club. And the only stipulation is do not turn that one girl. as we intend to use her. Magdalena.
Understood. A blood feast will be done. 2 to 3 mortals for every Cainite taking part in this is usually the parameters. Not set, but that is what is usually defined as a blood feast. Are you comfortable with that?
How many do we have, anyways? We haven't actually discussed the number of
You have the remnants of the
Sabat that we've
warriors.
gathered.
You have the remnants of the warriors, a number of Cain's creatures, yourselves. So we have, in total, plus the wandering packs, around 17 individuals, by my count. This includes Jason and Monique.
Smaller than I thought it was. Yeah, that's fine.
Dictation to embrace those which we feed upon. It'll double our number. Or triple.
Did they see them worthy of their packs? Yes. Or worthy of being shovelheads at the least.
What do the packs say behind Victor's back as I'm wandering around behind him and lingering after he speaks to them?
There's not a lot of negativity to be found, quite honestly. There's a question of who he is. A lot of the individuals that are here don't know his full story. There's not really a lot of negativity and questioning of his leadership. The wandering packs are most interested in who is he. I think the most negative thing you could find is talks about the night prior. About how he was taken off guard, and now he has no home. His pack, this is the one to lead us, but he was taken off guard just like the rest of us. Everything else is talk about, or rather questioning who he is, where he came from, how he came to be like this. The positives of what is said behind his back is that he's the child of a great. There's a lot of rumors that come in with this. As a child of a great La Sombra from the past that used to hold Mexico City. Others say that he is the grandchild of oh, I'm forgetting his name. Montague? Not Montague.
Montano.
Montano, thank you. There's a lot of rumors to go with this. That he fought and was the only reason that that his the last place he was at, Ohio, is the rumor, was left in so much destruction. There's a blend, but none of it's really like I said, the most negative thing you can find is that there is the truth, is that he was taken off guard just like everybody else.
While everybody's starting to roll out, I'll drop my obfuscate. You have a lot of support here, Victor. Make use of it.
But to hear it, and I intend to. We will take Mexico back for Cain and for the Sabat.
For Cain or for your sire's legacy?
I care not. It is for Cain.
Good. You would do well to control that perception. That you are not your sire's child, but a son of Cain.
Let's go.
What's the first stop?
Following for the blood hunt, or for the blood feast and mass embrace.
Excellent. So with the blood feast, to give you a peek at the mechanical benefits, this is once per story. A vampire participating in a blood feast can reduce their hunger to 0, regardless of any feeding flaws or clan banes. Additionally, for the rest of the night after the rite, they may roll a +1 die and take the highest of their rouse checks. So you'll roll 2 rouse checks, take the higher. This benefit stacks with bonuses to rouse checks that the canine might gain from having a high blood potency. So those of you, EREBUS, that would roll 2 anyway, will roll 3. And like I said, if a blood phase usually requires a pack to kill or severely wound 2 to 3 mortals per canine participant. So,
Does our turning count as killing?
so like I said, well, first of all, abso-fucking-lutely, yes. You die when you become a vampire. I need to know, because we'll do this in a swift action, essentially. I need to know who is going to participate and who's going to turn.
I intend to do both.
I'll participate.
Will you turn?
I also intend to do both.
Is anyone going to stop that?
Yes. I would tell you before we go in that you should not be turning. Need you intact for tomorrow.
Normally, I would agree that it is an unwise wager. However, the childer I create will be stronger than I think most of the soldiers that you have.
While I agree with you, if we lose you, then the entire plan of tomorrow goes to crap, whether we have great soldiers or not.
There is a logic to that. However, all of the Nosferatu have seen me. Any one of them can wear my face and use my voice. You have options, Victor. And if this does claim me, then you will have 3 in my place nearly as powerful as myself. Numbers.
None that have the personal relation to her that you do. Whether they wear your face or not, your mannerisms, the way you move, would not be the same.
Permit me at least one.
Where
In
to
that
me,
way,
you will not fall.
I will do what I can. But this way, when I make one, I will give them to you as a gift. I have no talent for keeping my child alive. You kept Derek alive for some time.
Do not fall, EREBUS.
The dark comes for us all. But I will do what I can. Who would you like to give the blood to the ones that I drain?
Anyone
can't-
who chooses. It can be me, it can be Monique. Does not really matter. Speaking of which, would Monique be participating and turning?
Monique would not make that intention clear. Not to you. She'll be participating. As far as turning, she hasn't said. However, she would speak to EREBUS, or rather, to TREY, and explain that she doesn't turn people on a whim.
I agree with that.
TREY, through the conversation, what you gather, and you may feel free to share this with Victor if you so choose, is that Monique doesn't want another child. Even if they're not to survive the night, she thinks it's cruel. She thinks that it would be a waste. A waste of her blood. A waste of your lineage. And there are plenty here that will turn.
Does she think I'm a waste?
No. This is an inquiry. She confesses to you that no, it was. You were a happy accident. It turned out to be one of her greatest contributions to the Sword of Cain.
Yeah, butterflies. No emotion expressed.
Like I said, you may feel free to express this to your this conversation to Victor or to Erebus. It's entirely up to you.
I mean, if oh, not really, unless it's asked.
Understood. Victor, then you don't know if Monique is going to change anybody.
It was simple curiosity. I'm assuming that the way we're going to handle this, because you have to go take care of the tech, and that's going to take a couple of minutes, right?
It depends on their system.
I intend to go inside and scan who is there before I do choose.
If you can find the girl and get her out before we begin, it's her best chance of survival. And I will vanish again and go inside. Succeeded on the rouse check.
Excellent. This is quick. This is a flash of violence. It's not a movie where the evil vampires announce their presence first and everyone becomes aware, has a moment to fight back. No, this is swift. So as such, Victor, I'd like you to make a wits and awareness roll. Let's see if you can find her first. Erebus, you may do the same if you so choose. Trey, same to you.
I'm going to arouse the blood.
Can I instead
Failed.
I'm also gonna rouse.
try to use like like a mosquito to be like, hey, find this chick. You know?
Yes, you'd have better luck on your own. As a mosquito's understanding of, so they're still animals. This is the issue with animalism. It wouldn't. It knows blood. It knows the taste of blood. It knows warmth. It's an insect. It
You
wouldn't.
saying insects
w-
are smart?
I'm saying that a mosquito is not going to be able to identify. Wouldn't be able to identify her, and lead you to her.
So I should just do it myself then. All right. What's an awareness, you said? 6 successes with a messy crit.
Excellent. With a messy critical tray, you're going to take this as a hunt. That's your target. You're not compelled to wound or injure, but anyone who gets in your way is going to be violently shoved away or subdued, including your allies. Victor, Erebus, difficulty was 5. Unfortunately, you are unable to find her before anybody else. So this quickness, this swift attack, you are lost in the chaos. Now the packs have their orders. You can only hope that they follow them. But Trey, you find her amidst the chaos, amidst the bloodshed. She's panicked. She's ran up to sandwich herself basically between the staircase and a private booth. It looks like an area that was added on after, or rather, a sort of dead crawl space, essentially. She's hiding. There are 2 Canaanites that are approaching her. You're going to get violent, Trey. What do you do?
Yeah, I guess because I'm aggro, right? So yeah, I'll just burst right in between them, or shove them away from her. Not really looking at them, but yeah.
She screams. There's a sort of a violent reaction from these two. They grab your arms. One of them stops and realizes who you are. Just sort of snarls and turns away to find another target. The other one looks at you and says, "She's mine."
Am I able to like speak and all that stuff? Or
Absolutely, yeah. You're just going to take
okay.
this a little more hostilely than perhaps you normally would.
Then I would say, if you don't want to be scanned and have the flames torch your flesh, I suggest you back off.
You roll, Trey. Let's call this your choice of charisma or manipulation, and then intimidation, please.
I'll go with charisma.
While this roll is being made, Victor Erebus, again, unable to find her, what is your goal here? You're going to turn, or you're going to just kill here?
My first goal was to get up to the security room and cut the feeds before everything began.
Understood. Let's call this is going to be a very strange one. But let's call this dexterity and technology to maneuver through the crowd and get to the security area.
I had hoped to get in right before the chaos and take stock of which humans were there. One that looks stronger and more social. I intended to get close to him before it started.
By all means, a bouncer.
Or her.
With the awareness of with the wits and awareness roll of 4, you were able to do this. Taking stock a fraction of a second before, or a fraction of a moment before. Thank you, Erebus. Able to get in and find a bouncer that is personable, that everyone seems to be chatting with. He seems to have worked here for some time. With Erebus, with your role, you're able to maneuver, and if you stay vanished, you're able to maneuver without a whole lot of issue. Getting up to the security room, there is a duo of 2 security guards that are monitoring everything. As the carnage starts, they begin to try to. There's a moment of pause. Obviously, this is shocking, and it's that initiation of the fight or flight. They begin to reach for radios. They begin to prepare for a phone call to 911, or rather to the Policia of Mexico City. Easily silenced.
Yeah. Erebus will just flick the knife out of his jacket. And the first one will just cleanly cut the spine at the back of the neck, just below the nape of the skull, to paralyze them but keep them alive. And then we'll embrace the other.
Understood. We'll get to that very shortly. Backtracking to Victor. You have your target.
That is the one I will make my child.
Excellent. We'll get to that very
Any
shortly.
2 others I will feed.
Understood. Trey, result of your roll.
7 with a regular crit.
Excellent. He hesitates for maybe 2 seconds. He pauses, weighing the options, and then you don't know what he sees in you. You don't know what he's looking at here. Maybe it's your eyes, maybe it's your posture, maybe it's the tone of voice you use. In those 2 seconds, he realizes that this isn't worth it. Whether he meant that she was his in regards to a claim so that he can pursue status, or perhaps that she was his mark for embrace, perhaps she was his mark for just murder. None of it's worth it for what you display here. And he nods and grits his teeth and goes to another. She's crying, Trey. Terrified. What do you do?
I would reach out for her, and if she allows me, escort her out.
She shrinks from your touch.
We have to go.
She looks at you, I want you to make me a charisma, or rather a manipulation and persuasion check, please.
Is it manipulation?
Manipulation and persuasion. She's horrified. You have to almost brute force your way to have her follow you. Not necessarily through violence, but this is getting her to do something that is. She's panicked. She wants to stay here locked and be silent and hopefully just ride this out.
Can I rouse the blood?
Absolutely.
Success. 4 successes.
4 successes. She doesn't fight you. You reach out. She shivers a bit as you touch her. You guide her through the carnage. She tries to make herself small. She peeks from behind her hair, looking at all of the carnage taking place. And you walk amidst bloodshed, amidst the sound of tearing flesh, amidst the draining, amidst laughter and reverie in this room. As you are exiting to your right, you can see Victor draining someone, one of the bouncers. Everything has a thin coat of red. EREBUS, Victor, your intent is to create a child. You drink, and you drink deep. You may reduce your hunger to 0. And then begins the longer process. A rouse check from both of you as you feed them a bit of your VtM. Victor, you stay at 0. EREBUS, the serpent, does not rest very long. But both of you are going to take a stain. To create a new child is no small thing, even for this bot. For both of you are going to take a stain. EREBUS, you are, as elected, not entirely on your path. This, with your touchstone right, is not going to save you from your last drop of humanity. It is up to a die roll at the end of this session. You would roll 1 die. Victor, this is not your last drop of humanity, so this will operate under normal humanity rules. At the end of the session, you will roll your humanity rating against your stains. We'll see what goes on with your humanity track. Screams turn to gasps of ecstasy. Amidst the terror and carnage, the blood feast, there is an embrace. High up in the 2nd floor of the security room, down to the front entrance, where a bouncer is reinvigorated with life. TREY, you step out. What do you do? She's with you. She's panicked.
I ask her for her cell phone. Do you have a phone? I need to call somebody so we can get out of here.
She nods. Reaches for her phone. Shaking still.
She gives me the phone.
She holds it up and then she says, I need to call. I need to call. She starts to say something. You can take the phone of your own volition at this point.
We don't have time if we want to get out of here. I need to make a phone call. And I'll reach for it slowly, until it ends up in my hands. Hopefully. Yeah.
You do this. She doesn't stop you. She's panicked. And at this point, outside of the carnage, things are calm. You're trying to purvey a very calming presence. She's getting sick. She's likely going to vomit soon.
I'll guide her down the alley and kind of put my back, guide her towards a dumpster corner to throw up, and her in the corner and me kind of backing her in with my back, I guess. And then I'll just take her phone and text the chat. I have her.
Understood. It's a moment before it's even read, as Victor and Erebus are a bit busy at this moment. But moments pass, and Victor, Erebus, the task is complete. They will rise. Check your phones and see Trey's message. Ah, Victor. No phone. Apologies. I don't mean to rub
I
it in.
will finish with my dude, and I'm gonna go look for somebody else to eat. Make my quota.
My quota.
Yep. Erebus is gonna wait for his child to awaken and then drain the other security guard with him before cutting the feed and erasing the footage.
Understood. Your
Monique?
child arrives.
Jason?
Monique and Jason, yeah, Monique and Jason would see. Well, I can't speak to Jason. I'll leave that to the player. Monique sees your message
Sorry
and
for
asks, no problem. No, it's good for point of reference. Monique asks you where you are. But Erebus, your child wakes hungry, and so saving this mortal, the two of you feed. After he has a clear head, after the hunger has subsided. 1 second. It's no tech roll is required. This is his job. He knows what to do, and a clear head is had. He's in a daze of sorts, a euphoria of rising anew, having fed from someone, really not really knowing his own actions. The shock of what he has become has not quite set in yet, so he's operating. This is my job. This gentleman has asked me to raise the footage. Therefore, I will do so.
Does he have a name badge on his uniform?
No name badge. Unfortunately, most security companies don't require to wear a name badge, so he's just got his uniform. There's the emblem of the security company on the left shoulder, but no name badge.
What were you called before tonight, boy?
Peter.
Peter. Your name is now AVERY.
Okay.
And I will show you what it is to inherit the dark. Come. There are more for you to eat. And Erebus will just open the door.
There's a flash.
Just hold the door for him.
There's a flash in his eyes. Wherever shock or rejection might come, whatever horror might befall him later in regards to what he's become, is subdued by the hunger. Perhaps you don't even remember what it was like to be freshly turned. He's just fed. Should be at 0. But he's still interested in the prospect. He moves.
Take your time. Choose one that stimulates you. Choose one that makes you hate yourself. Then feed.
Nods.
Erebus will just grab another along the way. Just another meaningless face, but mainly just watching.
Understood. Victor? You had something?
Yeah, just for clarity, I thought it took like hours before they rose.
Under normal circumstances, yes. A bit sped here in the Blood Feast. For storytelling purposes.
Okay, then I'm gonna drag my dude with me because I was just gonna leave him at the door. He's coming with me now. Now I'm dragging him through the bar until he wakes up.
Understood. Wakes up a little more lucid than Erebus is. He's taking stock of his surroundings. The fangs already descended, looking for a target.
I will hand him one.
He
Come,
drinks.
my child. I'm going to share a meal with him.
drinks silently. It's strange, Victor. He's composed. Doesn't seem feral. Just seems angry. When he drinks, the inside perhaps of an hour, this place will be filled with nothing but the dead. Trey, what are you doing outside with your mark, Magdalena?
You said an hour?
I'll
takes-
I'll text Trey back while mine's feeding and just say festivities will be coming to an end soon.
You don't have to remain for the entirety of the hour, but there are people that are toying with their food.
I'm not. No, I got what we came here for, right? And I'm taking her back. Y'all have 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, and I'm taking her back.
Understood.
Fast food.
And who would be next on the chain of command after Victor if Victor were to leave this place?
Technically
Like,
speaking,
if
Uh,
our pack were to leave, who would
if
be
your
in charge?
pack was to leave this place, that would be well. There's no real hierarchy. It's really independent packs working together. So it's in terms of who has the most status. Let's find out together.
Has to be one of the Warriors, right? Unless there's some Davy Crockett motherfucker in there.
Yeah, it would be one
The
of the Warriors.
The Warriors went to the
I don't
Noth,
think-
went with the
yeah.
Noth to the Elysium.
Elysium. They're not
Yeah, then-
here.
Yeah, then there's no one really that's has accrued enough status to call themselves leader amongst these packs. You can assign someone as like an Ansan.
Yeah, I'll just grab one of the pack leaders of the nomadic packs. Just tell them when you're done with this place, burn it.
Do we move to the next? Is there any other reason to wait?
Erebus will just turn his head and look at him with those cold, dead serpent eyes. You have a wild hunt to take part in. Never make me repeat myself again, or I will eat your very soul.
It'll be done.
He'll grab his childer and head out to the alley.
Do this. Victor, you follow behind. You follow as well, correct? You head out to the alleyway.
Did anybody
Yeah.
grab me?
I'll wave him along on my way out.
Then yes. Come, child. Let me show you more.
You see, Trey. You see your companions arriving. There is a gentleman with slightly more than athletic build that follows behind Erebus, and then a larger individual that follows behind Victor.
As we walk out the door, I'm gonna ask him for his name.
Fair. His name is Julio.
Julio the vampire.
Very well.
Are you ready?
What time is it?
Very early in the
We have-
evening.
You have plenty of time.
Yes. Let's deal with the matter at hand.
Again, she looks horrified. Is very much afraid to move. And looks to all of you. She recognizes at least one of you.
I'll lean over into Victor's ear. If you were to give her a very light kiss, you could use your powers of persuasion. It may make her more pliable, and it would make her look damaged to Fernando.
If it comes to that.
As always, it is your choice. But I would think presenting her to Fernando in less than optimal condition may impress upon him our position.
Even better to do it in front of him.
As you say. I also have that power if you would prefer not to take part. But we should go. Does the ride we took here have enough seats for the two noobs?
Just squeeze. What you guys have been commonly rolling up in is like an SUV. If anything, they can position themselves in the back. They're newbies. Put them in the trunk.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
That's where
Get in the
shovelheads
trunk,
belong.
newbies.
That's where shovelheads belong.
I'm not kind to my shovelheads.
And I will say offhandedly to Victor as we're getting into the vehicle and leaving, his name is Apropos.
No way in hell you found somebody in this town named Apropos.
And that is what I named him. Apropos. A reason for. It's a good name.
Gentlemen, as you pile into the car, so we will return to you all very shortly, and we'll see what the next phase of this is. Erebus, you're riding that last little bit. We'll see how it goes. We'll see you all very soon. Welcome back. We have discussed the probabilities of a white grenade, so that'll be fun. However, we pick up where we left off. The three of you had gotten in the car, made your way back to Fernando Villarreal, and back to the temporary haven that you had all set up. Is there anything discussion along the way? If not, then we will jump into the next scene.
This is how I feel we should handle it. Once Villarreal is awake, he gets a glimpse of so-and-so. And we just go from there.
So she's in the room when he wakes up, and then we just yank her out immediately.
I mean,
I'm just making sure I understand what you're saying.
she doesn't necessarily need to know she's there. He's there. But he needs to know that she's there. So
The office room that he's in has windows, right? Leading out to the floor. Chain
And
her
it's-
up outside.
And it's on the second floor. I'll have a good view. I can handle the girl. If you two would like to deal with Fernando, he won't be too happy to see me again.
Promise you won't eat this one.
My hunger's sated. What are you hoping to get out of Fernando?
information, a weak point, a name, anything useful or helpful.
And what are we to do with him when we're done?
TREY captured him. That is TREY's decision.
Pretty sure he dies. Right?
Whether he dies or you diablerize him, I mean, is your choice.
Is he not devoted to the line of Urshulgi? Was he not a champion of the Sabbat once?
Not anymore.
If you can flip once, you can flip twice.
That's not somebody that I would trust serving Cain.
Or would I?
His sister is still in town, you're aware.
Who's his sister?
He didn't come here alone, he came here with a pair.
Yeah, we talked about this. We knew. I don't remember her name though.
Do you want to use him as a bargaining chip to get her out of the way as well?
Is she with the Camarilla?
In what way?
If there's familial love between them, his life and their leaving the city, it's merely an option.
Is she of anything of note? Or
She's as powerful as him. I believe she has some talent with blood sorcery.
The question with that is, though, do we trust that they would honor their word?
If we escort them out of the city. Again, merely postulating.
I think at the very most, if anything, it will just be another setup. Use him as bait to lure her in to capture. But anything besides that, I disagree with letting him go.
I do find it
Agreement to
a
that.
pertinent note. None of us are experienced blood sorcerers. So removing an experienced blood sorcerer from the table of combat may be beneficial.
We have a blood sorcerer.
Maybe.
He was at the house. We don't know what they did to him. I know what I would do if I were in Fernando's shoes and I found a blood sorcerer. And I'll say no more on the subject. It is your choice as always. I exist to serve.
The possibility of using him as bait is intriguing. Letting him go is not an option. We don't really have the time to attempt to use him as bait now, though.
So perhaps we just keep him on ice somewhere. Until we're ready to make a move against his sister, that is.
If that is what you wish to do with your prey. Again, you captured him. His fate is yours.
I understand that. Simply put, the first step is to get whatever information we can out of him. If not, then yeah, we'll get rid of him. If we can't use him after that, we'll get rid of him.
So it is.
What I would suggest is after we do, or if we get anything out, we check on the house and learn of our friends' whereabouts. Because if anything else, if push comes to shove, he could be a bargaining chip. So
His sire is a ranking member of the Camarilla, no? And was looking for him. There are many variables in play. I suggest we start by removing the variable that is Fernando Villarreal.
Who's driving?
Jason, of course.
Did he come?
Sure.
Because I was thinking that might have been the person we, left behind to guard Fernando.
Whatever you'd like.
Julio's driving.
That's a bad
He
idea.
did seem rather
Same
composed.
issues. Same issues, bud.
Yo, stop buying fancy cars if you just get an old fashioned.
I didn't get this car.
The fuck? Stop getting cars with
I'll drive.
microchips in it.
I'll drive.
I don't even know how
Excellent.
you ride that bike you got. Man.
It had all the fancy electronics removed.
What's the wait?
I have to agree with Trey on this one.
I'm sorry, do either of y'all have fancy nice things? At all?
I have a PS5.
We'll see about that. Remember, it's at the house. If the house is still standing.
I have the safe house that's kept you alive for the last 2 nights.
I said fancy, nice things.
I don't. It's fancy in its own way.
Unliving is pretty nice. So you drive, you make your way back to the safe house. It's your scene, gentlemen. However you want to go about this.
Is there a two-way mirror room? Yeah, there's a
don't believe
two-way
so.
mirror room in there, right?
I don't
It's an
believe
old,
so.
it's
a
an old
wo-
steel mill.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but still, those steel mills have.
I would say
Because
the foreman or the I'm not sure they're called a foreman, like the office that a maybe has a big window, but
I'm sure there's a place where there's cameras, right, of the facility, like a camera room, and we can see things from that room, right?
through a window,
No, through like a camera. Like
Victor can't show up on cameras, and Victor will fuck with cameras.
we don't need Victor to show up. We need
He's
old
saying that I
girl to
can't be
show
in the
up.
room.
Yeah,
Just
Victor
be
will.
in the room.
This place stopped being operational in the 60s, Edge.
Okay. All right. Well, let's just walk her by a big ass window, I guess.
Well,
We discussed this. We're gonna chain her up in the middle of the
why
fucking
we gotta
factory
chain
so
her
he
up? Let's
can
not chain her up.
see
I
her
don't want to
from the
traumatize
window.
this girl any more than she is. All right. We still need to care for Seth's children.
I'll just hold on to her.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. Just calm her down. Now, be a soothing force for her. All right. This is.
I can do that.
Thank you. Oh,
You can?
In my own way.
I don't like that. I can do it.
I mean, if I did it, I would have to bite her.
I can do it.
Both of you look horrifying. I should just remind you, like, all three of you in reality.
Fine. You stay here and hold on to the girl, and I'll speak with my old business associate, Fernando.
You mean my appearance didn't get fixed with, my now 4 humanity?
Absolutely fucking not.
You hate me so much.
Spot her wild, man.
It's fine.
And
It's fine.
I guess
I can
I'll go with Trey up into the office.
Excellent.
Do you want him to see me or not?
I don't know the nature of your relationship, so do
We
whatever you.
we were both hired to kill all of you.
Oh, that's okay. Well, cool.
I thought Victor had explained the situation.
I mean, it was like a brief mention, but we had a lot of other stuff to worry about too. My mind is split. Okay.
While it is just the two of us, Trey, you're the reason I decided not to kill all of you. I thought you should know.
I'm glad I could be a positive influence on you.
I'm less worried about the positive influence on me and the positive influence on the rest of your pack. Without you, they would be worse than beasts.
We are our brother's keeper.
An interesting turn of phrase. Do you want him to see me or not?
Incognito mode.
I can't really take another. Well, as soon as he wakes up, I'm gonna do True Love's face.
Define True Love's face for me, please.
I roll a rouse check, and I appear to them as one of their touchstones.
Excellent.
So we didn't even need to kidnap her? What?
I might not be that touchstone.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't, and that's the fun thing. I don't know what I look like to him when I do that power. And to everybody else, I just look like myself. He's the only one that sees it.
That's fair.
This is so fucked. All right, let's go. Let's do it.
What's the old girl's name again?
Magdalena.
Magdalena.
The fuck? Huh? Mag-
Magdalena.
Magdalena. Okay. Okay.
This is so bad, Gilbert.
It's wild. It's as if we're in Mexico or something. That's crazy.
Is that
Alright.
a common name?
Not common, but it is Hispanic in origin. Yes, I've met a few. Usually they go by Maggie.
I
don't
will
feel
get
like that's
one
likely.
hungrier for invoking that power.
Understood. Brings you to 2 or 3. Erebus or just.
2.
It's up to you, Trey, to unstake him.
Okay, he's chained up, right? Upside down, right?
That's where they left him.
Okay. I'll unstake him.
Life returns to his face. The semblance, the cheeks grow less gaunt. A bit of color returns. Opens his mouth and stretches his jaws. His eyes narrow and look to you, Trey. If you've hurt her, I will salt the earth with your blood. Your lineage, everything you know will fall.
Okay. We could skip the theatrics and just get straight to what we need. You know, any information will be appreciated.
You'll have nothing from me.
So, just to make sure, right? You gave up on Cain and now you're giving up on your people, right? You're sacrificing both of them.
He shifts his gaze very quickly, very abruptly to Erebus and then back to you. But he doesn't say anything.
Okay, well, I guess we'll just have, what's her name, Maggie, go first. Shovelhead. That would be funny. That would be ironic.
He snarls.
Tell them, Fernando. They're going to kill her if you don't.
It's a look of confusion. What'd you do to her?
I mean, nothing you don't already know or probably experienced yourself. Fernando, it's real easy. It's as simple as it could get. I'm not going to lie to you and say that you'll survive, because you most likely won't, regardless of what happens. But I will guarantee you that if you give us what we're looking for, anything helps, that they would be let go and free from any torture or pain they could experience.
You choose your words carefully. You think I don't recognize deception when I see it? You're asking me to choose between my honor and her. He looks to you, Erebus.
You lost your honor when you left the Sabbat the first time, Fernando. This is your chance to get it back.
I'll be honest. I don't know what the hesitation is for. Right. You betrayed us once. You didn't honor the monomancy that you called forth. And you especially didn't honor the fight that we had between us. So obviously honor means little to you.
My honor is everything. I called for Monomancy. I won. He was dead. I honored our fight. You called in your extras.
I guess I don't get to hear the betrayal part.
My eyes were opened. He showed me.
He led you astray, Fernando. All of the honor and none of the brains.
You who waits for a silent moment to strike. I recognize you both now. Erebus, you fucking turncoat.
Drop the face. You are getting quite boring. And now you're testing my patience. I was very clear when we took this job, Fernando. Do you remember what I told Fiorenza? No, you weren't listening. You never listen. I told Fiorenza that I would work for her as long as it was in my best interest. And she promised to make it continue. She has nothing left. Don't you understand? She gave us Brett Dominguez on a silver platter. To what? Set up an attack? How long till your head's on that platter, Fernando?
Have a lot longer than you.
Oh, honey. Like it or not, only reason we didn't fucking murder your little bitch out there is because TREY didn't want it. You owe him. Give him what he wants.
TREY who waits for a silent moment in the backseat of a car. A knife in the dark. You would have done well as a judge.
I didn't wait. I was just, finishing off the people you left behind.
Not before they could finish off the warriors. Not before we could take your home. Your goal. Your friend.
Well,
I'll open the window while TREY's talking.
that's useful information. Now we're getting somewhere. Now, because everything I've said up to this point is true. Just give us something good, something useful, and we'll let her go. Easy as that.
Do you think that Erebus was our only informant? Do you think that Felix isn't going to sell you out?
Of course he will. He's a fucking Ravnos. You know what you get when you bargain with them. Victor, I think one of her hands will do. What do you think?
No. Victor, you hear this?
I'm just sitting there. I've been sitting there with Maggie, using awe and just talking to her. Asking about her life, how she knows Fernando. What is he to her?
From what you can gather, what you've gotten so far, and then we'll jump into something that's very important. He's just a friend, a friendly person, someone who she thought was going to be more romantic in his pursuits, but he never was. He never called her over one night when she was out with her friends. He said she looked bored, and that perhaps he could provide a more stimulating environment, a conversation. She took that as him hitting on her, but it wasn't. He really meant it. He was just looking to have a conversation, to talk about her friends. And she took that as a little bit strange, creepy, so she was closed off at first. And got into her life. He talked about his. the things he has to do. She knows that he's a lawyer of some sort, passes judgment, and condemns people to their punishment. He's a prosecutor, she's gathered. The job weighs heavy on him, from what she knows. They talked. And he never made a move, never laid a hand on her that she didn't ask for, never a romantic gesture or effort. She's grown quite fond of him, but they only ever see each other at the clubs. And she's pressed, saying that it doesn't seem like his scene either, and she fervently agrees it's not. But sometimes, once in a while, he'll meet interesting people, people that also don't belong, that are trapped in by society, having things expected of them, to fit into the social norms, that have to do things that go against what they would like to do. A lot of people cave. They take that first drink. They try the first line. She never did. She just sat there and supervised her friends, made sure they got home safe, watched them carefully and dutifully. And in turn, he watched her. Now, before we jump into this next bit, there will be a description in the video when it comes to YouTube for the content warning. For the time being, as we've done before, I'm going to put 2 fingers up the possibility of content warning being torture and injury. When these 2 fingers go down, it'll be safe to return. Continue.
I hate to ask this of you, Maggie, but I need you to scream for me.
Why? Why?
Because it is what is required right now. I would prefer not to make you scream. Just need you to scream.
Understand.
Think back to the club, everything you saw, how horrible it was. Let out all your frustrations.
Manipulation or charisma and persuasion, Victor.
With that sick presence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Big successes.
She sits. She stands and she begins to reflect. Your voice guides her. It's like a lot like guided meditation here. And she begins to heave and sort of hyperventilate. Upstairs, you can see Fernando is saying, "No, don't, no, no." In a few seconds, she takes a deep breath, Victor, and screams a blood-curdling, an emotional emptying of everything she's seen. You can hear Fernando scream in return. Their voices collide in the air, creating a cacophony that echoes off these halls and walls. Begins to writhe and try to escape the chains. His of rage, hers of anguish.
Can I preach during this?
Hmm?
Yeah, I'll be preaching.
What do you preach, Trey? I'm not asking for a specific passage, but if you have one, you may absolutely.
Let me see here.
But you can also go with
I'll
just
say
a
this.
general vibe.
No, I'm gonna do verbatim. All right. Let's see here. Not verbatim, but kind of verbatim. All right. You might remember this, Fernando. It might jog something with you. But we are given dominion over the line of Seth, the third son of Adam. He is our youngest brother, and we watch over his children as if they were our own. and we'll show them the right way, and they'll serve us for all their days.
He screams, and he starts to scream a reply to you, Trey. They will serve us while the sun rides the sky and watch over our houses with quenching water against Michael's fire. They will feed us and provide us with clothes. He recites verbatim from the Book of Nod. He continues until the passage is complete. Screaming, crimson tears flowing.
You've already cost her a hand, Fernando. I think it's time to talk.
Shoots a look to you, Erebus. Grits his teeth and says, "Thou shalt not become as God, the children of Seth."
Yes, I will. I already have. Sutek waits for you in the dark.
You blaspheme against your own religion.
I serve the Sword of Cain. I'm no nodist, but I do serve the Sword of Cain. Less can be said for you, I think.
Thou shalt guide the children of Seth, as a shepherd guides his flock. I follow the word.
Oh,
You
Tell them
pervert
that
it.
they are needed.
You pervert his writings to your own ends.
I guide them. Guide them right into my nest, and I make them coiled and warm. Maybe I'll warm the bones of your girl down there when I'm done with you.
He lunges as best he can from the chains.
See, this is the interesting bit about torture, Trey. I found that when you torture a subject directly, they'll say anything to get out of it. It's getting someone that they care for. That's the ticket. Truth is, Fernando, I've been waiting for this a very long time. I was there when Malibu fell. To me, this is just pleasure, but the Saints want something from you. I suggest you give it to them, or I will take out every bit of vengeance I have on you and your line on that girl.
Trey and Erebus, both, you may make a roll of either manipulation or charisma, and persuasion or intimidation. However you'd like to go about the past few interpretations, past few words you've spoken. I'm gonna go ahead and lower these fingers. We'll get to it again if it becomes an item of concern.
Gonna rouse the blood, and that's a success.
Same. Failure.
May I interject with something from downstairs?
What's up, Victor?
At this point, if either of those two were to look outside, her screaming would have stopped. She would be seeking comfort. As I tell her, doesn't it feel so much better to have let it all out? Get it out of your system.
She's sobbing. She's dropped to her knees now and is sort of rocking. She's muttering things like, all those people, all the blood. The fuck were those things?
I would be petting her head. Oh, it was terrible, tragic. But you're safe now.
The results of your rolls, Trey, Erebus.
8 successes with a crit.
Out of curiosity, what did you choose to roll, Erebus and Trey? What were your rolls?
Mine was charisma and persuasion.
That's really funny. Mine was manipulation and intimidation.
I had a feeling. Just wanted to verify. You're not gonna let me go. You're smarter than that. What do you want? And I want your word, he looks to you, Trey, that you'll spare her. That you'll make her forget and she'll walk free.
Of course.
What do you want?
Where are they keeping our friends?
You don't have friends. If you're referring to your ghoul, to Felix, they're still at the house.
Who did you kill in Derek's place?
Someone we brought. We weren't going to just waste a resource.
And do you think you're any better than us?
We're willing to go to extreme lengths to stop you. That's why I'm here. That's why you were here.
Well, you're here because you couldn't handle Trey. He proved the better combatant. That's why you're here.
Undo these chains will test our own strength, EREBUS.
Oh, I quite like watching you squirm.
You're pathetic.
Many have called me so. Many of them are dead and you'll soon join them. But I will say this. We'll honor Trey's word, should you answer his questions. And I'll even add my own bit of honor. If you answer all of his questions truthfully, I won't wear your face while I kill your sister.
He snarls. And looks to you, Trey.
Friends as weak points. Elysium.
She doesn't attend Elysium. It's wartime. She stays safe in her tower.
Which is...
I know where it is, Trey.
I guess that's one answer you're not giving.
It's a penthouse. Heavily guarded.
And what's the best way of getting into the penthouse?
The sky. There is no way. Unless you have a plane. A helicopter. But even then, they'll see you coming.
How many ghouls and brethren should we be expecting?
I don't know. Truly, I don't. I went there once. It was her pet. The rest of the primogen.
You say a pet?
The one she's been grooming. Rena.
Tell me about Rena.
Just let her tell. She's a blue blood.
Okay. Haven.
She stays in the same building. Sticks close to the prince. Along with my sister. They're not your concern. Christina is. She's how we've been able to keep ahead of you.
Christina?
Christina Wilcox, the Malkavian primogen. She's a prophet. She sees your actions before they happen.
Oh. Then they probably expect this.
I don't know. She speaks in riddles. We have to interpret what she says.
Didn't project your downfall, huh?
She doesn't see everything. That's not how it works.
Sounds like you don't listen hard enough.
I'm going to enjoy knowing that you go after my sister. Where I failed, she won't.
We'll see.
Can you think of anything?
He'll walk right up to Fernando and crouch down in front of him to look him in the eye. What are you hiding from me, Fernando? There's something you haven't said. You see, I've been putting it together bit by bit, and there's one piece of your story that doesn't add up. Now, I was a detective in Los Angeles for a very long time, Fernando. And when there's a piece that's doesn't fit that's been put into the puzzle, it's the kind of thing that you get trained to look for. And I want to know what you did that made the Nosferatu track Magdalena. What do you have going on the side?
No, he's not listening. Detective.
Well, I'm listening. There's something you're not telling me, and I want to hear you say it.
Why would we need the Nosferatu if we have a prophet?
There it is.
They can't be trusted.
Mm.
And I told Forenza to begin a purge. They're a leak, an information leak, just waiting. Keeping them fat and happy only placates them, keeps the issue, keeps a fucking band-aid on waiting a gushing wound. The Nosferatu have to die. And if you're smart, you'll do the same with yours. They'll sell you.
I think I'll just take yours. See, here's the thing, Fernando. With everything that happened with LaCroix in LA, I learned the value of the Nosferatu. LaCroix might have called himself the Prince of Los Angeles, but Barry Golden owns that fucking city. That is your downfall. You thought yourself above them. You judged them, as is your way. And you judged poorly. And now we're going to destroy you. And your sister. And every other fucking Camarilla kindred in the city.
You still don't know what length she's willing to go.
Fiorenza, she was willing to hire a snake and hoped I worked for her. She's desperate and wants out.
Know that the children of Seth will rise up with weapons from the one above and conquer us, should we be as gods to them.
Yes. She brought the hunters here to look for us. That I already put together. And now you're boring again. I don't have anything else, Trey.
Well,
Do we give him a warrior's death or make him die a rat?
mistake him.
You do this, no roll is necessary. He's bound. It's simple, it's easy. And the last words on his lips are Magdalena.
I'll shut his eyes and cover his ears. Now really, what do we want to do with him?
At this point, I don't really think we need him. But
We could freeze him. And I do mean literally.
for what purpose?
Leverage. Draw his sister out. Or just something to play with when we're bored.
You know, EREBUS, I feel like we're not following the same path. You know?
Just postulating. I have no preference on what we do with him.
Okay. Let's convene with Victor.
We should disable his hearing before we do. He'll be able to hear everything that goes on.
That's fair.
And I'll just hand Trey my knife and head down to go see Victor.
You all three convene. Victor is comforting Magdalena.
Is it done?
I mean, not
For
yet.
now.
Yeah, for now.
Did we get anything useful?
The Camarilla of this city spurned the Sabbat and moved for a purge of them. We should recruit them.
Nosferatu.
What did I say?
Sabat.
The spot.
Yeah, yes.
Which also, yes.
Just true.
Yeah, but that's expected.
They spurn the Nosferatu of the city. When they see how well we have treated their Sabbat kinfolk, it will take little convincing to bring them over to our side other than some promise of station among us.
Sure, most of the Nos are already doing that for us, but
You should make a personal appearance if you want to impress upon them any sort of obligation.
yes.
Our pack is still at the house, apparently.
Derek's alive.
Supposedly.
I would like to check in on that first and foremost then. What about Felix?
As far as we know, alive.
You can expect whatever he knows about you. It's been sold to the Camarilla.
He chose armadillo. I just, you know.
That doesn't say protect your own ass. I don't know what does.
There was a promise made that the girl have her memories erased and be released.
I expected that, and I'm fine with that. Are we ready? We release her now?
Unless you have any other questions before we do.
I think one of you should take her as a ghoul.
I will throw in here, because it's been a couple weeks, there was a thread pulled about the Hakata in Mexico City. There is the possibility that he might know more. I don't want to leave you guys with, because again, it's been a couple weeks. We're not just doing this back to back. It is something you can press on if you'd like.
I definitely will.
Thank you.
Yeah, whenever we get back up there.
What time of night is it?
Around here, given that it's winter, it's probably around 11 p.m. So you still have plenty of time.
Do you wish to talk to him again before I let her go?
If we let her go, we lose the leverage.
Yeah.
I think Trey should talk to him alone. I've agitated him enough, and he's boring to me again.
Any other questions?
Ask him why he continued to serve Firenze. He had every chance to leave.
Why did he really turn from the Sabbat? Period.
Firenze offered him something. And I wasn't privy to that conversation, and I knew you weren't going to get that answer out of him with me in the room.
I mean, he said that someone showed him the light. And if
I
that's
haven't-
the case, I
have an inkling that might be your Malkavian Archon.
Pain in my ass.
He did
This
say
whole
it.
time
He did.
I've just been what?
He said the Malkavian was the prophet.
Yeah, the Malkavian Primogen is a prophet. That's how they've been staying a step ahead of us.
Exactly why I called for Wild Hunt on her. It's one of the targets.
And he mentioned Rena being what's her name's pet, Firenze's pet.
She was also one of the targets.
So maybe it's
Well then,
I mean,
if you
they got
called the
both
blood hunt, if you called a wild hunt on her, and she stays near Firenze, we may have just
Yeah.
shot ourselves in the foot.
we kind of did.
But unfortunately for us, we don't have a Malkavian Primogen who is a prophet, so these things are wont to happen.
Depends
Although,
on where they're staying.
if this Malkavian Primogen manages to survive, you should blood bond her. She'd be a useful tool. You have to start thinking like a bishop, Victor.
I'd like to say that this is ironic because this whole time I'm sitting there and I'm still just petting Maggie, trying to get her to calm back down.
I'm going to go check on the child while Trey finishes with the questions.
I'm gonna set up, have somebody set up the camera. I want to be a good service and you know, let what's his name, see Matt.
Let him see her getting released.
Yeah. So
Absolutely. You can set up basically a phone call, a video call.
I'm gonna mute it, of course, and he ain't gonna be able to hear.
You do this.
And I'm
Erebus,
gonna
you gotta,
ask questions as well. Yeah.
Erebus, you go check on the child there. Victor, you stay in comfort. Trey, you unstake Fernando. You show him it's a bit staticky with Victor's presence on the camera, but there are flashes. You can see she's there. He looks, he watches. What more do you want?
I've heard of a kata native to the area. Yeah, would you happen to have any information on that?
Peace and not. I went to them for information. They didn't have anything on you. At least they said they didn't.
That's good. Where'd you go exactly?
They honor their ancestors differently than you do. Differently than I do. They enter the city when it's safe. The rest of the time they're on the outskirts. They live in simple homes. They remain in the dirt. They meet in caves.
What was the other questions I was supposed to ask?
Why did he keep working for Firenze?
Oh yeah. Why continue down this path with the Camarilla? Yeah.
I wouldn't expect you to understand loyalty to a sibling.
That sucks for you. Is that the reason why you denounced Cain and turned your back on the Sabbat?
Turn my back. I saw the truth. He showed me the truth. That you pervert the words in the Book of Nod. Cain's words. All for your own ends. For wanton violence. For bloodshed. So you can make yourselves rulers and kings over men. There's no honor among you. There's no justice. It's just animals.
Don't you find that ironic? Given who you serve, who does all of the words of Cain, except honor him, and just place themselves at the top.
At least she doesn't pretend. At the very least, she doesn't pretend to be holy.
Over the phone, I'll say she's good to go.
Maggie. Look at me, Maggie.
She does.
I'm gonna use dominate. Forget. And as I'm doing that, I'm also gonna hold both of her hands up to the camera so he can see that we never cut them off.
The ability that you're using is which ability?
Cloud memory.
Double check how long or what the length of time that will make her forget is.
Fair point.
While this happening, though, I am gonna deoberize him. So he go. His final sight could be of Maggie. All right. So, and I'll try my best to stretch it out with the length of Maggie leaving, hopefully. But
You drink. Victor, let me know if you are even equipped to erase tonight from Magdalena, because it takes a certain level of dominate. So you may have just inadvertently promised something you can't deliver.
The last few minutes.
What is your level in dominate?
Eh.
There's a reason I suggested taking her as a ghoul.
So, with that being said, Trey, you feed. You drink deep, and he watches the screen. Magdalena forgets the last few minutes. As far as he knows, as far as his intel, maybe he thinks that Victor is able to do this. The last sight he sees, Magdalena getting up and leaving. What happens after that is entirely up to the three of you. You know that Victor doesn't have this ability. Perhaps you are being kind. Perhaps there is...
who knew? Victor told me he could do it.
Well, Victor, shame on you.
Victor didn't know. I had it written down, and all it said was "make them forget." I forgot about time.
Wow.
It's okay. We got other people. We can have somebody else fucking do it properly.
The best pack. So, first of all, Trey, I need you to make me... I need you to make me 3 strength and resolve tests.
Strength and resolve.
Mm-hmm.
Can I arouse the blood?
I'll allow it.
Oh,
I don't think that there's nothing saying you can't. I don't believe.
Success. 6 successes with a regular crit.
Now you need 2 more. Because it's going to be 3 strength and resolve checks.
Oh, gotcha.
First one is a success.
7 successes.
Second one is a success.
3 successes.
Just enough on that final roll. Diablerie is committed. You drink deep as he watches Magdalena leave. Crimson tears seep from his eyes. Doesn't say anything. You take it in. The blood, the vitae, the soul. Now you must assert control, Trey. You are going to lose a point of humanity. Which brings you to what?
3.
And what is your blood potency?
3.
So you're going to roll me 6 dice against his resolve and blood potency.
Oh, shit. I feel like those are high. Do I use hunger die for these? No.
Yes.
I do? All of them?
All of the hunger die that you... Well, currently you shouldn't have any hunger die. You drank.
Oh, that's fair.
You're at 0. Now you're just... It's a matter of asserting control.
And you say I can rouse the blood?
Yeah, by all means.
7 successes with a regular crit. I don't know if crits matter, but if hunger dies aren't in consideration. Do they still count as double? Okay.
What was the result of your success?
7 with a regular crit.
What is your generation tree?
10.
You are going to lower yourself to 9th generation. With 7 successes to his 5. You're going to have 10 experience to play with on increasing blood potency or on disciplines known by the victim. And I'll get you a list if that's what you'd like to do.
Yeah.
But you drink and you take Fernando Villarreal into yourself. There's a last fight within your soul, Trey. It's close. Scratches and claws from within. Doesn't go down easy. But at the end of it all, there you remain. Now, this is an excellent place to end our story for tonight. EREBUS, you have a stain. Victor, you have a stain. Victor, I want you to roll. How many stains do you have? 1?
Just the one.
You have 3 humanity? 4?
4 total.
I believe you'll be rolling 5 dice, if I'm not mistaken.
3 successes, so I'm
3
good.
successes. It's a necessary evil, but you don't feel, you feel bad enough about it. You did what you had to do. You have a new child. It's not a terrible thing. This is what you do to procreate. The beast does not win tonight, Victor. EREBUS. Yeah, so you have 9 fuck my life. 8 die. Apologies.
4 successes.
4 successes. EREBUS, it's a terrible thing what you've had to do. It all comes crashing in. The weight of what you've done, what you've become. God, you are so close. What have you become? It's a weight, and your beast does not win.
I think this is an applicable moment if you're okay with doing 2 of them in one sitting to change out a conviction.
Absolutely.
And I think we will go with bring others into your sway to increase your influence. And I will pick a right for that off screen.
Excellent.
Yeah, can I argue
Mm-hmm.
for me as well?
To take a conviction?
Yeah.
By all means, what would you like to take?
Always keep your word and honor your agreements.
I like it. You did your best.
I'm gonna
I like
right
it.
my wrongs. All right.
We're still gonna do it. I have no intention of harming this woman.
I would also like to say a prayer.
Take us out with a prayer, Trey.
After he's done, he's gonna drop to his knees next to this lifeless ash, I guess. And he's gonna recite. Oh yeah, it's not a prayer, more a recital, right? The blood of my brother cries out to me as I sleep. As the sun crosses the sky, I hear my brother's second born, Abel, screaming. Mark well the spirits of those who have died. Know their strength is not your own. Listen to their words. They carry wisdom. Listen not to their songs. That way is oblivion. Do not seek to bind them, but free them if you can. Such is the commandment of Cain, who himself has been imprisoned and freed.
As it is written.
And I did, since we're currently in the middle of a wild hunt, assign the wild hunt to bring others under your sway to increase your influence.
Excellent. This is where we'll end this session of Book of Saints. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for watching. Is there anything to plug before we leave?
Trevor Project. We're raising money all month.
Yes, indeed we are. I'll throw that link in the chat. Raising money all month and raising money past the month as well. Because you know it's a good cause. Why stop it at June? Why not just continue it? Yeah, thank you so much for the reminder. Did you want to plug your other stuff?
Yeah, sure. I'm Avery at Avery DuBois on all the social media platforms. I stream on Twitch semi-regularly. And I'm a community ambassador right here on the Rolling Nomads. Yeah, check out our YouTube too. Give our YouTube some love.
For sure. Absolutely. Anyone else have anything to plug? Right on. Well, we have been the Rolling Nomads. You can find us right here on twitch.tv/Rolling Nomads, where all of our actual plays live and where they grow live and air. You can find us over on YouTube, youtube.com/Rolling Nomad. That's where all our actual plays live permanently. They're uploaded 4 days after air date. They have a little bit of catching up to do, but that's all right. We'll get that squared away coming next week. You can find us, keep up to date with us over on our Twitter and our Blue Sky. Our Twitter is @_Rolling Nomads. Our Blue Sky is @Rolling Nomads. So you'll find our going live announcements, our cancellations, our late starts, our new programming, all the announcements and such over on Twitter and Blue Sky. Once again, that's @_Rolling Nomads and @Rolling Nomads respectively. Over on our TikTok, you'll find key highlights and key moments of these streams and such. Interesting things that you might be looking for, or you might be put onto a new show that you didn't know you were going to enjoy, and that might be something for your morning commute. That's Twitter, or rather TikTok @_Rolling Nomads as well. I believe that's it. I appreciate you all so much. We will see you all next time. Same time, same place, same K-Nights. See you then.